A man so ill, whose liver removes. A man so ill, whose liver removes a sign for Qasim, trampled by the hooves. All this torture, yet they do not move away from Allah. They will never lose. Don't violate the Prophet's sanctity. Silence calls Hussein. Just let us be. The funeral of my brother turns back. Zainab removes the arrows from his back.
The tragedy continues and it goes on to Qasim alayhi salam. Qasim, when he is in Karbala, he looks around and he realizes now is his time. Qasim goes to Al-Hussein, his uncle, and he says, "Oh my uncle, let's now be the time where I go and defend you." Imam al-Hussein gave a promise to Al-Hassan that I will protect your son. I will protect your son, my nephew Qasim. Imam al-Hussein cannot say no. He cannot say no. He has to say no, my apologies. He has to say no. But then Qasim comes forward. Qasim comes forward with a letter, and this letter is from Al-Hassan saying, "Oh Hussein, on that day when you call out Hal min Nasirin yansuruna, and no one comes to you except my Qasim to represent me." But you know what the tragedy of Al-Qasim is? It's when Imam al-Hussein starts to tie the turban around his head. Scholars say that there are two things with regard to this turban. Scholars say that the first use of this turban was to show that he was the son of Al-Hassan, that mark of the Arab, the pure Arab. And the second, they say, the second part of that turban, they say that because Al-Qasim was so young, the helmet would not fit Al-Qasim. So when that sword would come on the head of Al-Qasim, let this turban at least soften that blow. Al-Qasim is taken to the skies and is joined by his father Hassan.
Prepare for Karbala. Give to your son a letter forecasting things to come. Permission to enter the battle. A tearful Hussein when you're on the saddle. Don't say that you are an orphan. You are my son. I told your father that I will always keep you safe.
And when Qasim leaves, who is left? Ali al-Akbar is there, the son of Hussein. Ali al-Akbar from that line of Karrar, that strength of Ali ibn Abi Talib, the strength of Hussein. But how can a father let go of his son when he knows that every single one that goes to that battlefield does not return? Ali al-Akbar, a warrior. 19, 20, 21 narrations differ. Ali al-Akbar, when he asked the permission from Al-Hussein, imagine the heartbreak. Imagine the heartbreak. Perhaps Imam al-Hussein's human side came out, if you like, where he had to look at Ali al-Akbar and know that a spear was going to enter him. Ali al-Akbar makes his way to the battlefield. And it is said that Ali al-Akbar, whilst he was going, Imam al-Hussein would walk behind him. Ali al-Akbar would turn around. Imam al-Hussein was looking at his son making his way to the martyrdom. Ali al-Akbar returns. The thirst was too much. The thirst of Ali al-Akbar was too much. He comes back and he says, "Oh father, the thirst is killing me, wa atshana." Imam Hussein says, "Oh son." And imagine, how can a father say no to a son who asks for water? He says, "Oh my son Ali al-Akbar, place your tongue into my mouth and see if you can get any saliva from my mouth." Ali al-Akbar does so, and within an instant he pulls back out. Why? And he says, "Oh father, if I had known that your mouth was drier than mine, I never would have even asked." Ali al-Akbar then goes back to the battlefield, and a short time later he hits the floor. And when he hits the floor, he calls for his father. Hussein runs out. He attends to his son, but Ali al-Akbar is rolled over. He is hiding something from his father. Imam Hussein asks him, "Oh my son Ali al-Akbar, what are you hiding?" Ali al-Akbar keeps his arm there. When Al-Hussein removes the arm, he sees the spear into the son, and he sees the spear into the son of Ali al-Akbar.
Hussein went to Ali and his son, then hugged him. Hussein went to Ali and his son, then hugged him, but only with one arm. The other covered his chest. Hussein tried to move his arm, but Ali then resisted. And when Hussein moved his arm, he wished he hadn't insisted. Hussein looked at his son, saw the blade wedged in deep and wide. He then looked at Najaf. "This is my Khaybar," he cried. He then pulled the blade apart, and with it came Ali's heart. He saw his son's bloody face and completed the embrace.
All the warriors have gone, and Abu Fadl hears the cry, "Wa atshana, wa atshana, wa atshana." The atfal, the children, and now the orphans of all the companions and the family members called for water. And remember, Sayyidah Ruqayya would look to Abu Fadl as that uncle that would return no matter what. Any request that Ruqayya had, Abu Fadl would be there. al-Baneen raised Abu Fadl, and she said to him, oh my son Abbas, this Hassan and Hussein, they are not your brothers. Do not play with them, they are not your brothers. These are your masters, and you will serve them till your end. And this was the extent that when Abu Fadl would hear the cry of the daughter of his master, he would say, "Oh Hussein, oh my master, let me go to that river at least and bring back the water." Abbas goes, we know what happened. He comes back, but the masa'ib of Abbas is not the fact that one arm was struck. No, the masa'ib of Abbas is not that a second arm was struck. No, the masa'ib of Abbas was not that arrows were pierced within his eyes. No, the masa'ib of Abbas is that the water was pierced. The masa'ib of Abbas was that the water gushed onto the floor and Abbas fell to his knees. And the beauty of Abbas is that even till the last moment, he still says to his brother, "Oh brother," no, he still calls him master.
As he reaches that river, quench your thirst, wait your brother, fill that flask, and come faster. Sakina cries for water. Don't worry, Don't worry, Abbas is near. Soon he will be standing here as he gallops back to us. In Abbas we do all trust. Will he reach us? Yes, he will reach us. He must. Why is that arrow about to thrust into his eye? Abbas, don't stop. Don't worry, the alam's not drops. The alam now starts to fall. Oh, Abbas, why is his arms with him no more? Why is Hussein's name being called? Abbas, it's the sand, oh Lord. Hussein runs to his brother. I failed, I am sorry, master.
Hussein takes his youngest to ask for water and is returned with an arrow. Hussein, when he hits the ground, Al-Hassan's youngest son comes in and is sliced apart. Hussein is alone upon that desert sand. But I ask you, is that pain of Hussein at that moment, is it the fact that he was bearing physical pain, or was it the pain of when he thought back to Zuljanah not moving? When he was entering the battle and Zuljanah was not moving, and he looks around questioning why, and it is then when he looks to the leg of Zuljanah and he sees Ruqayya clutching on, saying, oh father, I have seen everyone go. I have seen my cousins go and they have not returned. I have seen your friends go and they have not returned. I have seen my uncle go and they not return. Oh my father, Ruqayya may be only 3 years old, but she can see that if her father goes, will he return? And this is what I ask you. Was the pain of Hussein the fact that his head was about to be taken off? Or was the pain of Hussein knowing the whips and the lashes upon his daughter Ruqayya after he leaves?
Hussein is struck and collapses to the ground. Screams and cries from the tense definitive sounds. Droplets of blood embrace the floor from the heavy clouds around him. Arms, body, and thugs within a crowd. Finish him, they call. Finish him, they call. Why do you wait? Even the worst of souls start to realize their mistake. May Allah have mercy on the one who says me with me, Wa Husayna, Wa Husayna, Wa Husayna. The deed is done and Karbala shakes. Hussein lies unmoved. Zainab looks onto her brother in his state.
Tell me of an individual upon this earth who witnesses the striking of her father to his death. Tell me a human being that has lived on this earth who has also seen the door crush her mother. Tell me of an individual who has seen that and also not witnessed and has also witnessed the death of her unborn brother Muhsin. Tell me of an individual who saw all of that and saw the liver of her brother being chucked out of his mouth and then sees the arrows into his funeral. Tell me of a human being who has seen all of that, and in addition has then seen the passing of her children, and in addition the passing of her nephews, and in addition the passing of her niece within the courts when she cries for help. Tell me of a lady, none other than al-Masa'ib, who witnessed all of these tragedies. Tell me of a human being who witnessed the beheading of her brother, helpless, looking on, crying, "Oh my mother, please come to our rescue. Oh my father, she looks to Najaf, please come to our rescue." Zainab is alone. Zainab established this majalis, and for her, we keep these majalis alive.
Zainab cries, "Who do I grieve for? Where does my tragedy start? My family's been ripped apart from its core. My father to the sword, my mother to the door, Hassan to the arrows, Akbar to the spear, Qasim to the hooves, Abbas to the water, and Hussein to the blade. I now lose Ruqayya to the sight of her father's head. Is this why they call me? They call me al-Musayib, traveling in sadness' steps. I call to Najaf, Father, 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 come to my aid. A promise to you I made, that I'll withstand all these trials, and this promise will be made.